I didn't slam the door on my way out. I didn't raise my voice. No angry words. No accusations. No desperate questions asking her why. Because when truth slices deep enough, silence becomes the loudest response. She lied. And in that instant, something in me let go. I didn't stay to dissect her reasons or look for clarity. I left. Because remaining would have meant choking on something I knew I couldn't live with. I thought that was the end. I thought I was done. Until the letter showed up. Folded. Torn at the edge. Left quietly on my doorstep. Like a whisper no one's supposed to hear. And just like that, the version of reality I'd barely begun to accept shattered all over again. We had been together for 4 years. For years of shared routines, familiar laughter, lazy Sundays wrapped in silent comfort. No sparks, no grand gestures, just steady warmth. It felt dependable. Safe. At least, that's what I told myself. Looking back now, I can trace the moment the atmosphere shifted. It was subtle. Her gaze didn't linger the way it used to. Her words came in fragments, like she was constantly holding something back. But I ignored the signs. Because love makes you loyal, even against your own intuition. And maybe that's why the truth stung so much deeper. It didn't begin with something obvious, just a quiet moment. Her voice, soft and anxious, leaking through a phone call I shouldn't have overheard. She said she couldn't keep living like this. Said guilt was consuming her. I shouldn't have listened. But I did. That night, I asked her what was wrong. She smiled. Said she was just stressed from work. Told me I was reading too much into things. I wanted to believe her. God, I needed to. But the next morning, something inside me cracked. I looked through her phone. Something I'd never done before. I didn't want to be that person. But I became him anyway. And there it was. A name. A whole part of her life I knew nothing about. She hadn't crossed the line physically. But emotionally, she was already gone. I stared at that screen for what felt like hours, frozen. I didn't wait for a confrontation, didn't stay for explanations. I took my coat, grabbed my keys, and walked out. No message, no note, no goodbye. I left the life we built behind, because she had already left the truth behind. Days blurred into weeks. I moved into a new place, started piecing myself together, or at least tried to. But in the quiet hours, she lingered. In the way I froze when I saw a shirt like hers in a store window. In the ache I felt when I realized I had no idea what her days looked like anymore. Still, I never reached out. Not once. Because she had lied. And that was a line I couldn't step back over. Then, one rainy afternoon, I came home and saw it. A letter. No envelope. Just my name in her handwriting. Left gently at my door. Like a breath, she didn't want me to hear. I stood there, frozen, every instinct telling me not to read it, not to give her space in my heart again, not even through ink. But I opened it, and what I found inside broke me in ways her betrayal never had. You probably hate me. I would, too. But before you erase me completely, please read this. Not because I'm asking for forgiveness, but because you deserve the truth. I lied that night. Not because I didn't trust you, but because I was ashamed of what I was becoming. That man you saw in my messages, I wasn't in love with him. I was in love with being seen, with the escape, with a version of myself that didn't have to be perfect, strong, or always in control. With you, I felt like I had to be everything all the time. And somewhere along the way, I started to feel like I was failing. It probably doesn't make sense. But I was scared. Scared I wasn't enough. Scared that one day you'd wake up and realize you deserve someone better. So instead of asking for help, I sabotaged it all. I gave you a reason to hate me. I know that was cowardly. You didn't yell when you left. You didn't even look back. But I watched you walk away from a window, and I've never stopped regretting it. I've typed out messages to you 100 times. But what can you say to someone whose heart you broke without meaning to? I'm not asking you to take me back. I just need you to know you weren't the problem. I was, and I'll carry that truth for the rest of my life. I hope you find peace. I hope you find someone who stays even when things get messy. And if you ever wonder whether I loved you, Yes, I did. I still do. I just didn't know how to love you the right way. Her name was scrawled at the end. I sat on the floor for hours, not because I forgave her right then, but because I finally understood. Betrayal isn't always born from cruelty. Sometimes it's rooted in fear, in self-sabotage, in insecurity disguised as distance. And that letter, it hurt more than the lie ever did, because it reminded me that what we had was real, just not strong enough to survive the war she was fighting inside. I never replied, not because I felt nothing, but because some letters are meant to close chapters, not open new ones. Still, I kept it, not to hold on, but to let go, to remind myself that sometimes people don't leave because they stop loving you. They leave because they've forgotten how to love themselves. And to anyone out there holding on to the pain of someone else's deception, you're allowed to walk away. You're allowed to never look back. But if closure ever comes to you, in a letter, a message, or a whisper from a distant past, let it find you, not to stir up old wounds, but to finally lay them to rest. Because the truth, no matter how painful, can set you free. And sometimes, walking away isn't the end. It's where true understanding begins.